the time tariffs that's affecting all of us, probably around the world. So let's dive deep into this thing and let's look at this thing. So as you know, I make leather bags, and let us just look at what my niggas are saying back in China. So let's go.
One bag costs 6,150 from the boutique. The other 300 made by me.
Have you guys seen that TikTok video that the Chinese guy posted about exposing how luxury goods are made? Basically, most of the luxury brands we use every day are made in China, then shipped to Europe and sold to consumers at a premium. A wedding ring that we can buy for $2, they turn it into $2,000. China is the world's largest processing plant. You buy Gucci, 80% is made in China, Prada 60% is made in China. Even Chanel, Fendi, Louis Vuitton, Adidas, Nike, etc. The only difference here is that China sends them to Europe and they put some little label on them that says made in France, made in Italy. It's ridiculous. While people are still criticizing H&M for being cheap and of poor quality, those expensive and good products that you think are made in France and Italy are actually from China. So what do you have to worry about? Come on, your MAGA hats are made in China. And now President Trump has imposed an additional 144% tariff on China. Vice President J.D. Vance called the Chinese peasants. They're out of line. If you don't let me do my business, we can't do ours.
What's up? I hope you all are feeling amazing. So there's a whole this China situation thing is a big thing. If you're a business person, you know.
Hey, Trump has implemented a 10% baseline tariff on all exports to the United States. There is a way Kenya can win from this, however, in a particular industry. While other textile exporting countries have experienced higher tariffs, Kenya can now position themselves to export even more textiles to the US. While this is good for our textile industry, our agricultural products will be affected negatively by this, amongst other industries as well. And our costs of manufacturing are increasing because of our taxes, and this poses a challenge for us Kenyans. My name is Manuela, founder of Figuring Finance, keeping you up to date with financial news.
So having me, my brand M&B Wear, here, we can craft for you the best business deal for your company, save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't know who I'm talking to, but if you're the right...
Who pays the tariffs?
The Chinese government pays the tariff.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
I'm an importer and an exporter for 20 years. When a product comes into the US, there's something called a tariff sheet.
Okay.
I, as the buyer of that product, follow US law and pay the tariff. I'm an American citizen, an American taxpayer. I pay that tariff to the US government, and that increase in the cost I then sell to you for a higher price because I've got to cover that tariff.
Then what about,
what do you say
our tariffs are higher when they go overseas as opposed to theirs coming here?
Tariffs are never a zero-sum game. Tariffs are a tool. For example, you might say, you want to sell us your beans.
Yeah.
We are going to give you a low tariff if you buy our corn. But the cost of the tariff is ultimately always borne by the consumer.
Don't you think at the end of the day there may be more competition within the market of the U.S. government?
And you're confusing the question. This is not a question of competition. The point we're discussing is who bears the cost of the tariff.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you if it's good policy for the U.S. government to tax beans and for the Chinese government to tariff corn. But what I can absolutely assure you is that a product that comes into the U.S. is paid for by a U.S. company, and the increased cost of that is borne by all of us. I am an importer and exporter. I do it for a living.
Okay. Then what's the alternative if at one point in our country's history was tariffs that paid for our economy?
Tariffs don't pay for your economy.
But they did. We didn't have income taxes before.
That was before we had municipal infrastructure.
Correct. My understanding is that the tariff is lopsided to benefit other countries as opposed to ours. The suggestion is just to bring it up to make it equal.
That's why you have free trade agreements, right? But it doesn't mean that even within the free trade agreement they are not tariff. If there's one thing you should take away from this extended conversation is you are always paying the tariff.
You know what? I'm not educated in that. Fair enough.
Yes.
It was a pleasure.
Good.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Business partner, I got you. So listen to this Chinese vendors. We have the same materials, same company, same we actually import Chinese machines, but the materials are made in Africa. So but all the same, man, we're so lucky and so fortunate to have this business opportunity come to your doorstep. Kindly go to www.mnbwear.co.ke, view our products, call us, let us do business together. For all of you who are doing bulk shipping for your shops and businesses, we do custom branded apparels with anything that you need. So just call us. We're here for you guys. Yeah. So thank you. Have a blessed day, and just look at this few videos, and I believe you all are just on track on this. So thanks for everything. Kindly like, subscribe, share, follow.
A little friendly reminder, get those Shein orders in, or anything you order online from China, which honestly everything is from China, get them in. Y'all already know all these tariffs are going around, and it's insane, it's crazy. Everything is going to be like marked up, so you have until May 2nd. But just a little friendly reminder, get those Shein orders in place. I've noticed there's been so many like delays on orders and stuff, so it's already gonna like affect everything. But get those Shein orders in, and yeah, just a little reminder to the girls, and stay hot, girls. Bye.
Everything is stamped, and so you see authenticity is everything over here. Yeah. Gucci gang. Versace hapo. Yeah. Tuma pesa. So looking at bag, how much so yeah. You get what I'm saying? Man is no problem. So this is the light. China hakuna wizi. Just everything authentic, everything. That's how we do it. What's up? I hope y'all are amazing. I hope y'all are feeling good and fine. So I want us to look at some clips for What's up? You've heard Manzi. The first clip is saying how goods are inflated prices when they go to China, or when they leave China. Basically they're saying most of the goods and products and apparels y'all are wearing in the States are made in China. So I just think that's not a communist country. I just think they put the working force together, and they're really building themselves up. So yeah, what you think about that story? What do you think about these tariffs? If you need cheaper bag than the ones made in China, I got you. Our tariffs are way lesser in Kenya. 10% tariffs, way lesser. When you buy a bag at $1,000, I'll sell that same bag at $600. Bridging $400 markup, or even $500. Just hook me up. We'll talk. We'll discuss the price. Thank you for everything. Let's hear the next clip.
Why are Chinese factories all over TikTok right now? Manufacturers like these guys are sharing videos claiming to expose what goes into making designer goods. They're breaking down how little it costs to put together a product and how much people are then asked to pay once a logo is stuck onto an item. They claim designers like Hermes, who make the iconic but extremely pricey Birkin bag, actually get their bags made in China, ship them to Europe to add their branding, and sell them to US customers for way more than it costs to make. That's the opposite of what Hermes says on its website, which doesn't mention China and has a map showing where they operate in France. So what are guys like this on about? It's all to do with US President Trump's tariffs. He announced 145% tariffs on most things coming from China into the USA. A tariff is basically a tax on stuff that's imported from other countries. That means, in theory, companies bringing goods from China into the US would have to pay the tariff to the US government. But that increase in cost often gets passed on to the customer China, who ends up paying more for the product. Now, Chinese manufacturers have appeared to start trade war talk to fight back. They want people to know just how much is made in China and how that shouldn't be a marker of poor quality. Even pointing followers to buy copies directly from Chinese factories instead, so they're not having to pay the retail price. But there's a few things dodgy about this. TikTok is banned in mainland China, so there's some suspicion about how these videos are appearing on people's For You page. One account many Americans have reacted to has now been removed. And not everyone's convinced the goods are the same as the real deal without designer tags. The TikToks have, however, sparked a conversation about how transparent brands are, who really benefits from a trade war, and how luxury goods actually are.
So today I want to discuss about the Trump tariffs against China. How products are made in China. I've been to China twice. I have links. I import things. Also, I export things to the US. So for any US customers or any US company that feels the China sanctions are too much for them, my boy has you, my boy got you. I can hook you up. Go to www.m&bwear.co.ke. Yeah, we can help you deliver leather goods, premium African leather, the finest grade and the finest threads and the finest craftsmanship. And on top of that, you're supporting African families, and we really appreciate your gesture. And we just want to say thank you for those who have been supporting our products. So the whole of the US we can ship to you, but at least we have a 10% cap on our tariffs. That's for textile. You can do hoodies, backpack, t-shirts, everything. So you just you can DM us, reach us out on our email, Google, just go to our website and our social media platforms. We're so much willing to work with you all. So we can do the t-shirts, the branding, and we can do the leather handbags for less than $800 or
explain to you reciprocal tariffs. So here's China, they make this car. Here's the USA, they make this car. In the United States, the car is being made in that country. The car sells for $10,000. They come to the conclusion that they also want to sell that car in the Chinese market so they can open themselves up to make more money, sell more cars. So the USA is going to export that car into China for it to be sold. Now China says, okay, USA, we don't mind selling your car in China, but we are going to place a tariff on it because you didn't build it in China. So you want to bring it in and sell it here, there's going to be a tax or a tariff. So let's say in this situation, China places a 60% tax or tariff on car imports from the United States. So if this car costed $10,000 for the consumer in America, immediately once it gets to China, it's going to cost $16,000, right? Because that's 60% more than $10,000. Now, in China, they're selling a similar car for $10,000. So what problem arises? This American-made car being exported to China is not going to compete very well with a similar car that's selling at 60% cheaper. The Chinese-made car is selling for $10,000. Meanwhile, the United States-made car is selling for $16,000 because of this tariff. So United States says, well, you know what? That's your decision. But if you're going to play that game, China, when you come and try to sell your car that's supposed to be worth $10,000 in the United States, we're also going to place a tariff on it. Okay, so as a reciprocal tariff, the United States would also place a 60% tariff on those Chinese cars being imported. Now, in this perfect dream scenario, this would obviously almost cancel these out and just make us at a trade equilibrium. This isn't the case in real life, but this is a very basic example of what reciprocal tariffs are. If you want to know why it's not as easy as this situation right here, then stay tuned for part 2.
$600. duffel bags you can do for $310. That's about 40,000 Kenya shillings, or about $400 maximum premium duffel bags. You can check us out on our website. You can look us. You can if you want side bags, leather side bags, they go for 20,000, about $150. Or if you want the Fox leather bag, side bags, they go for around $12. And if you want the drip side bags, they go for around $10. So we have a wide range of products for you to choose from. We have the actual leather products, and we have Fox products. So it is for you to tell us what is your customer base. You can tailor make everything to your customer base. Thank you for that. And above that, let us listen in.
Is this market manipulation?
No.
Why not? If it was a plan, if it was always the plan, how is this not market manipulation?
It's not market manipulation, sir.
Well, then what is it? Because it sure is not a strategy.
We're trying to reset the global trade system.
It's offshored
all of our factories.
And what has that done? How have you achieved any of that? But to enact enormous harm on the American people, which was our concern from the very beginning. Tariffs are a tool. It can be used in the appropriate way to protect U.S. jobs and small businesses. But that's not what this does.
To what our amazing brothers and sisters from China are talking about the United States and how the tariff is affecting their businesses. Okay, so the United States are importing a lot of goods from the China. As I was in China, this is what I realized. The Chinese are very industrialized and very hardworking people. I don't agree. You all Americans have been told about Chinese, they're a communist country, but I believe once you visit that place, those people are really forward thinking. They're really inviting. So, and it's an awesome time being there. Honestly, I had a blast. So if you all need any help in importing cars, in importing business materials from China, I got you. I also do that for other businesses and other brands, other businesses. So thank you for other companies. And also I export to companies in the US. So for all of the US companies that need help with fabrics from Africa, cotton fabrics, purely made in Africa, sourced in Africa, and leather purely made in Africa and purely sourced in Africa. And also we import pure cotton from Morocco and Egypt. So yeah, there's
Chinese producers are all over social media right now, and they're exposing just who is targeted by Trump's tariffs. And it's not the American consumers, and it's not the Chinese producers. It's actually our international corporations who have sold out American prosperity for their own profits. Let me illustrate. Let's use this example at Nike. Now, these are fictitious numbers, just for example. But let's say that Nike buys shoes from this company that manufactures Nike shoes for $10 a Nike shoe, which isn't very far off. Nike turns around and sells that shoe at retail for $100. Here's the interesting part about tariffs. You're not paying tariffs on the retail price. This is not a tax in the classic sense. The way the economists who are bought and paid for are trying to conflate it as. It is a tax on the import. This means with a 25% tariff, Nike's going to have to pay $2.50 to the US government every time it imports a Nike shoe at $10. So this $2.50 gets remitted to the American government, to American citizens. Now Nike's cost $10 for the shoe, $2.50 for the import tax. This means they're netting $87 per shoe. Now that's net, not profit. There are going to be other costs that are going to have to come from that. But you can see that the increase in cost is $2.50. So let's say that Nike passes the entire cost onto the consumer, even a little more, just because of the fear of tariffs. $103 a shoe now. That is the impact of a 25% tariff. So what the Chinese producers on TikTok are saying, instead of the American consumer buying it for $103, or let's just say that the company Nike eats all $2.50 of the tariff and still sells it for $100, you're way better off over here, paying directly to China, including the tariff, $12.50 a shoe plus shipping. So as you can see, the tariffs are not meant to hurt consumers. They're not meant to hurt China. They don't really affect China at all. They're meant to protect American industry. They're meant to protect Americans from their corporations who will sell them out for a profit. So if you look hard, you'll notice that the people who are screaming about how bad tariffs are for consumers, it's these companies right here. It's Wall Street. It's all the investors in these companies, because they don't want American citizens to realize these companies have sold them out and that they're not doing Americans any favors.
So what's up? We import our fabric from countries like Ethiopia, Egypt, Tanzania, and Burkina Faso. So, and if you want the best from the local African continent, we got you. We got the best silk from Madagascar and the best cotton from Egypt, and the so import cotton from Egypt, Burkina Faso, Tanzania, Benin, and Mali. If you want the best cotton, we got you. We don't have to stress about the African continent. We have all the links. And also, if you want silk, we got you. We got the best silk from Madagascar, Egypt, and also Burkina Faso and Mali. So if you need all of those materials, we got you. Head on to our website. We can hook you up. Yeah, Mali and Benin. So on top of that, we have also the Swazi silk and the Ethiopian silk. If you need those type of threads and those type of materials to fit your finest garments for your finest occasions, bro, we got you at M&B Kindly contact us and we'll not fail you, bro. So kutoka Madagascar, Egypt, we got you. So on top of that, let us go into the video for the Trump tariffs. Yeah.
So now we know why America really didn't want us to see what they was doing over in China. And if you don't know, click the search bar and see how China just froze America, that designer that you've been spending your money on, $200,000, $300, $400, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, all of your hard-earned money basically been going to knockoffs, if that's what y'all want to call them, Canal Street specials, if I might say. China is basically saying that your favorite designer gets their bags, their clothes, their shoes made in China, not Italy. So when you thinking you get enough finest threads, you get them from China. And now China is saying that they got them for the low, like they've been had them, but they're just not keeping a secret no more. So what they're saying is that designer that we've been wearing, they've been making, and they make it for cheaper, and we might as well not buy that designer that we've been buying. It's kind of strange to me because a lot of people have been losing their lives to get designer. It's a lot of people that lost their lives over design. And you're telling me that China's been making it. All I could say is this trade war is exposing the rail from the fake and fake.